The Paradox of Choice, Barry Schwartz. The paradox of choice. Why more is less? In the modern world, particularly in Western society, freedom of choice is revered. We take it for granted that the more options we have, the happier, freer, and more satisfied we will be with the outcome. However, American psychologist Barry Schwartz, in his seminal book The Paradox of Choice 2004, brilliantly argues that this axiom is fundamentally flawed. An abundance of choice does not liberate, but enslaves. It does not satisfy, but leads to anxiety, regret, and decision paralysis. The essence of the paradox. Beyond objective benefits. On the surface, having more options seems inherently good. If a store has 2 types of jam, I can choose the one I prefer. If there are 50 types, my chances of finding the perfect jam for my current tastes are much higher. The logic seems sound, but it fails to account for the psychological cost we pay for this process. Schwartz divides people into 2 categories regarding choice. Maximizers. These are people who strive to make the perfect decision. They will not rest until they have explored all or nearly all possible alternatives. For them, choice is a stressful quest for the absolute optimum. Satisficers, a term coined by Herbert Simon. These are people who seek an option that is good enough to meet their key criteria. Once such an option is found, the search ends, and they are content with their decision. The paradox of choice hits maximizers the hardest, and in modern society, with its cult of perfection, this trait is encouraged and developed in many psychological mechanisms. Why abundance causes pain. Schwartz outlines several key reasons why an excess of options makes us less happy. 1. Decision paralysis. When there are too many choices, making a decision becomes unbearably difficult. The brain is overloaded with information and criterion comparison, and it's easier to abandon the choice altogether. A classic experiment cited by Schwartz was conducted in a supermarket. Researchers offered shoppers either 6 or 24 varieties of jam. With 24 options, the display attracted more attention, but people were 10 times more likely to actually buy jam when presented with only 6 choices. The 24 options caused paralysis. People couldn't make up their minds and walked away empty-handed. 2. Escalation of expectations. When you choose from 2 jams, your expectations for the outcome are relatively low. You know it can't be perfect, but when you choose from 50 jams, expectations skyrocket. You've invested time and effort, sifted through dozens of options, so the result must be amazing, perfectly suited to the moment. Reality almost always falls short of these inflated expectations. The jam might taste fine, but it doesn't blow your mind as you had hoped. Consequently, satisfaction plummets. 3. The opportunity for regret and counterfactual thinking. Every unchosen option is a potential source of regret. After choosing one jam, a maximizer will think not about its taste, but about what they missed. Maybe the one with chili pepper would have been more interesting. The one with whole berries looked more appetizing. This so-called counterfactual thinking, pondering what might have been, poisons the joy of the chosen option. The more alternatives, the more fertile the ground for regret. 4. Feelings of responsibility and self-blame. In a world with 2 jams, if the choice turns out poorly, you can blame the manufacturer or just bad luck. But when you've chosen from 50 options, run research, and read reviews, all responsibility falls squarely on your shoulders. Failure is perceived not as a misfortune, but as a personal failing, evidence of your incompetence. With all these possibilities, I still messed up is the destructive mindset that follows. 5. The burden of opportunity cost. Even if your choice is good, you cannot fully enjoy it because you are aware of the cost of the foregone alternatives. By buying one smartphone, you are simultaneously rejecting dozens of others, possibly with some cool features. This opportunity cost psychologically diminishes the value of what you already have. Application in marketing and business. Why 100 types of jam is a bad idea. The paradox of choice has direct and powerful applications in marketing. The jam story is not just a laboratory experiment. Reduced conversion. Too much assortment on a shelf or a website leads to users being unable to decide and leaving without a purchase. Simplification as a competitive advantage. The success of companies like Apple is largely built on a limited and clear choice. Not 50 laptop models, but 3 to 4, differentiated by clear parameters. This reduces the cognitive load on the buyer. Curation and expertise. The role of the seller changes. Instead of just providing choice, they must now act as a curator who helps to limit it. Services like Spotify or Netflix use algorithms to create personalized playlists and selections, effectively narrowing the choice to a manageable size. The phrase "we recommend for you" becomes a powerful tool to overcome paralysis. Target audience. Understanding whether your customer is a satisficer or a maximizer is critical. For the former, you can offer more variety. For the latter, you should create clear, ready-made solutions, starter packs, bestsellers, editor's choice. Application for personal effectiveness and mental health. Here, the paradox of choice intersects with the philosophy of minimalism and mindfulness. Minimalism as a cure. Consciously limiting choice in everyday life in clothing, e.g., the famous capsule wardrobe, food, entertainment drastically reduces daily stress. By deciding once that you wear jeans and t-shirts of a certain cut, you free up mental energy for truly important decisions, rules and routines. Creating personal rules. I never work on weekends. I check email only twice a day eliminates the need to make a willpower-based decision every time. This is not a limitation of freedom, but a way to preserve it by protecting oneself from exhaustion. Focus on good enough. Learning to be a satisficer is a key skill for happiness in the modern world. This is not a call for mediocrity, but a strategy against perfectionism. The question, is this option good enough for me, is much more productive than is this option the best possible one in the universe. Limiting the information diet. The endless scrolling of social media and news feeds is the paradox of choice in action. We scroll, looking for the perfect post, and end up feeling drained. Consciously limiting the time and sources of information is a direct path to reducing anxiety. Conclusion. Barry Schwartz's paradox of choice is not a call for asceticism or a rejection of freedom. It is a profound warning that unlimited freedom has its own, often hidden, cost. Understanding this mechanism allows us to stop being slaves to the illusion that happiness lies in the next option, the next model, the next untried alternative. Happiness and satisfaction lie not in maximizing choice, but in the art of managing it. By consciously limiting choice in unimportant areas, we preserve mental strength for truly pivotal decisions. We learn to appreciate what we have and find joy in good enough, freeing ourselves from the tyranny of the best. Ultimately, true freedom is not the number of open doors, but the ability to confidently close the ones that lead nowhere and to calmly enjoy the space